What is up, everybody? Welcome to a very special edition of Talking Elite Fitness. I'm Sean Woodland, being joined by new dad, Tommy Marquez. How the hell are you, man?
I'm great, man. Honestly, like despite the general fatigue and the craziness of the last week, I couldn't be better.
That's great. I haven't talked a whole lot about this with you because I wanted to save it for the show.
Hmm.
But I will never forget February 27th, 2020, when my son was born. You were one of the first people I thought about because I couldn't wait for you to experience that moment. So I want to get your thoughts on that here in a second.
Hmm.
We're going to talk all about Tommy's being a dad now, so that's huge. We're going to talk about a couple things headlines wise that are going on in the space, and then we are going to spend quite a bit of time talking about the Rogue Invitational and what went down with that. So before we do that, we want to thank our main sponsor for today, and that is Box Basics. I mean, if you're looking for the best one-stop shop for all your fitness outfitting needs, Box Basics is the absolute go-to place for you to hit up. I mean, they have everything. They have deals on all the top brands and shoes, clothing, workout accessories. Their customer service is second to none. And to me, that's what really makes it worthwhile for you to go to Shop Box Basics, because if there is something wrong with your order, they will make it right, guaranteed. We absolutely love working with Box Basics because they're real people who've been in this space for a long time,
Hmm.
and they genuinely care about doing the right things for the right reasons. And they had a really great promotion. We're a little bit past that just because we had to adjust some things now. But if you go to shopboxbasics.com, you can check out all their inventory, and they have some great Black Friday deals coming up. So you're going to want to scope those out early, because on Black Friday, you're going to be able to get a bunch of money off some of your favorite brands. So you just check out shopboxbasics.com. I love these guys. They're, yeah, can't say enough good
I'm
things about
there.
it. Yeah, you got the attire on.
Hmm.
So please, guys, check them out. We'll be talking probably more about them when we get closer to Black Friday, because a lot of our sponsors, including Shopbox Basics, have some fantastic Black Friday deals to take care of all your holiday shopping needs, not only for others, but also for yourself. Because sometimes around this time of year, nothing wrong with treating yourself.
Exactly. That's how I matched my Nike OG Metcons to my kilt when I was out on the golf
That's
range
right.
the other
Yes,
day.
and they have those OG Nike Metcons, which are
Yeah.
fantastic. I wear my pair all the time. So shopboxbasics.com. Please check them out. Just really great people doing the right things for the right reasons, and they will absolutely take care of you. All right. Babywatch has ended. Tommy is now officially a dad. So do you, let's just, I give the floor to you. How was the whole experience for you, and how is the whole experience right now?
I'll start by saying that, everyone's like, told me, just like, I can't wait, I can't like describe it to you. You just have, it's one of the things you have to feel and see for
Like amazing.
yourself. Yeah. And the minute, so I'll share some details, nothing too crazy, but I was able to have a part in, catching the baby and delivering it to my wife, Tiff, and handing the baby to her after everything we had just gone through, what she had gone through physically, emotionally, everything like that, handing it to her and seeing the look on her face and hearing our baby boy cry for the first time, like his lungs kick in, the speed with which everything happens. And then suddenly it's like there's this like state of bliss that just hits you, and an equally heavy emotional, like physical energy dump. And you're just like, oh my gosh, what just happened? And in an instant, right? Um, I guess this threshold is crossed, that you go from, being about yourself and your partner to like this this baby. That's what it's about. And obviously like Tiff too, but like everything just becomes hyper focused in that moment. And the experience leading up to it. I my poor wife, she was pregnant for an extra 13 days. So our baby boy
Hey.
came 13 days past due. Um, Marston Marston Sawyers goes, that boy's a Marquez because he
Yeah.
showed up late.
Uh,
uh, but yeah, and Tiff was a warrior, and handling the whole process, the labor process, and getting our baby boy out into the world and everything since, it's your entire schedule gets flipped and you're figuring out this whole new process and there's no manual for it and you're like, what the hell? I think we caught ourselves saying that more times in the 3 days we were at the hospital than like in my entire life. But
Hmm.
it didn't matter, right? Because there's those, like I said, those moments of bliss that just made it all just perfect. So
Yeah.
it was crazy. The hospital was fantastic to us. The doctor was great. Like they made every effort to accommodate us, um, and um, and we had some great support from our family, my in-laws, my parents, my cousin who's a midwife who was supporting us the entire time. It was, yeah, I can't say enough crazy good things, wild things. Yeah, it's just a trip. It's a trip to suddenly hear someone call it,
Yeah.
like even the nurse coming in and being like, "Okay, Dad," and you're like, "Oh
Yeah.
crap, oh crap." Today I was we were it was my shift for, with our baby Miles and I'm like Tiff's like running around doing errands and stuff like that and getting stuff done and I made what I would consider a dad quip, not a joke.
Hmm.
It's not necessarily like a targeted joke, but like a quip that's like geared in. And she looked at me like, "Oh God, what have I done?"
It's like that scene in
Like,
Mortal Kombat. It has begun.
yeah, it's like you finally go back to the back closet and get to pull out the battle axe, and you're like, "I've been waiting for
Mm.
this."
Yep.
Yeah, it was fun. But
Before
yeah.
we go any further, I just want to mention Lauren Khalil not joining us today because she is covering the national tactical games competition going on.
Hmm.
So she's busy,
Yep.
as she always is. Bringing people to news. But
Hmm.
there are very few experiences in life, and we'll move on here. But you mentioned his name is Miles. Miles Marquez is a great name, by the way. I mean, that's just I heard that. I'm like, that is like that's the most superhero name because they all have those,
The
the
alliteration, yeah.
even in Ready Player One, Wade Watts. He's like, yeah, my dad named me Wade Watts because he was a big fan of superheroes and what I thought
Hmm.
like a superhero name. So I love that. I think that's fantastic. But there are very few moments in life that you have where and I can remember mine and having becoming a dad is one of them. Is that today is the first day of the rest of my life where it's just done. Now we're moving. This is a completely and totally different chapter, and I will be a totally changed human being from now
100%.
on. So I'm
100%.
glad everybody's doing well. I can't wait to meet the guy.
Yep.
Uh,
Oh,
I am curious, and I will do my part to help you fight this fight. I know you live in a split household as far as fandom is concerned for your favorite NFL
yes.
team.
Yes.
Who gets jurisdiction over that right now?
I would lean on. I think it will base on the sport, right?
Okay.
I think I get jurisdiction in basketball and football.
Okay. That's all that matters.
Um, yeah, I think my wife will definitely take baseball. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, it I want to be as like open as possible, but
Yeah.
there's some there's just some things that are
Not
that are
negotiable.
tough. And what I was hoping, and I think I was joking with you and Chase the other day, I was hoping that I saw the writing on the wall. Cowboys were going to get pounded by the Eagles, and I was hoping that they would just fire Jerry Jones, or so they would remove Jerry Jones would recuse himself as GM, and they would fire Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy, great dude. I got to ask questions at the combine. Awesome guy. Seems like a great hang, but it's
Yeah.
not working.
I think it's time.
I, and I didn't want my son to live a day where Jerry Jones was the GM and Mike McCarthy
Uh,
was the head coach.
he is the harbinger of a new era.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's good stuff. Well, just know this: the Woodland family is going to do their very best to make sure that the allegiance to your team stays.
Stays.
That's all.
Yep.
That's
I appreciate
don't want to ruin anything else, but like that's going to happen.
appreciate that.
We're gonna do our part to do that. So, anyway, congratulations. I'm sure we'll talk a lot
Thank
more
you.
about it. I can't wait to meet him, like I said. And so,
Can't
oh,
wait.
one last question: how are your parents doing? I bet they're over the moon.
Oh, so excited. So excited. I mean, it's the first grandkid from on either side, so like I mean, both parents, I think we're just like chomping at the bit to like
Yeah,
just get to be a part, we get to be a part of it and share in those moments. And so,
and dude,
um,
You know what's so cool is you get to have like he's born and now you get to have Christmas with him. He won't
Hmm.
obviously won't know what's going on, but that's still fun.
The
You know,
first one is I'm actually kind of like looking forward to it because like I could put him in any outfit that I want for like go to J.C. Penney and get some fun
there you yes,
catalog photos.
definitely do that. Oh man, I'm so stoked for you. That's awesome. Um, okay, let's get to news that's going on other than Tommy becoming a dad, which is obviously major headlines in this space.
Yep.
First thing is CrossFit athletes continue to cross over into the world of Hyrox. Uh, Tia Claire Toomey is throwing her hat into that ring. With is it James Newbury? Because
Yep.
and I mean, Con Porter's pairing up with somebody as well.
Yeah, he had a funny quip online about it, as
I
Con
saw that.
normally do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay, have fun.
Because they're coming for it, and
Mhm.
Jay Crouch and Maddie Sturt are going to be at the same one.
Yeah,
So I mean, from a CrossFit standpoint, that mixed doubles event is going to be sick. Uh,
yeah.
like Tia, I mean, what is Tia bad at is really, but I think James in general, his training has maybe leaned more towards that style. He's gotten away from some of the heavier weights.
Mhm.
I think some of the more like plyometric or some of the running stuff has always suited him very well to begin with. And so that pairing, I think I think they're going to crack some skulls for sure. And then Jay and Maddie are both insanely fit and really well rounded. I'm just excited to see how that all plays out because like we talked about this a while ago when Christy Ermo
Mhm.
decided to go out. It was like if she goes out and has some success, then it could be like the a little bit of the turning of the ship and opening the door for other CrossFit athletes to be like, like
Mhm.
I mean, Jason Khalipa has been posting some stuff about training for one and doing a Hyrox event. I mean, Mal O'Brien's done one. Emma Lawson, Jack Farlow have done them. The list of like CrossFit Games athletes is growing rapidly at who's doing them, um, and it's. I honestly, even if they're not trying to just win, because let's be honest, like the Hyrox athletes that are dedicated to the sport are very good and
Yeah.
deserve credit for that. But they it will be good training for the CrossFit athletes where this isn't their primary sport.
Mhm.
It'll be really good longer time domain training for them.
Yeah.
Even if they like you go out there, I'm going to compete hard, but in the back of my mind, I know it was a day well spent as far as training is concerned. So that sounds correct without just like immediately dismissing the competition itself. But,
Yeah, and I think it's great that CrossFit athletes are dabbling in this,
mhm.
regularly learn and play new sports. Now, this is not really new, but it is same thing you've been doing in a different structure. What I'll be really interested to see if the Hyrox continues to grow the way it has, and CrossFit, the sports side of things, continues to sort of live in limbo. How many CrossFit athletes who, again, you got to be a really good runner to excel at that. Like that's a must. And there are some CrossFit athletes who fit that bill. How many might go over to that full time and say, "Hey,
Mm,
I'm, I don't know, I don't think we're there yet." But that's what would really interest me is that, I mean, like, is the success that Chrissy Amber O'Connell had. Someone like that, I could see. Why not give some more of those a try? But that like
yeah,
love what High Rocks is doing. I think it's a that what their whole model of just going city to city and holding these repeatable events that are mass participation is awesome. And
yeah. I mean,
Jim is getting people training. John Woolley is doing one this weekend, I think, in Chicago.
yeah, a bunch of them. I think Paige Powers is going to be at the one in Chicago with Dalton, her husband,
Mhm.
baby daddy, whatever. So I mean, you're just starting to see people turn up at these things because again, and a credit to them, they've also built a really good community environment, a
Yeah,
community
for
competitive
sure.
environment. And I think it's one of those things where this for Hyrox can also be the effectively not replace, but be a more training focused, effort focused, like Spartan race style
Mhm.
event, right? Like the Spartan race is like, unless you're in the pro, it's not as well regulated. The community run is just kind of like, hey, let's go out there and do it. And I think if people want just a little bit more from that without having to be like, I got to practice my like spear toss into a bale of hay, like I think this could be it for a lot of people. And I think you're going to see a lot of people signing up for this like it's a weekend CrossFit competition, like a local throwdown or a Spartan race where you're going to spend that money anyways. So
Yeah, and
I want to do the one in Vegas. I really want to
I
do
think it
that
would be
one.
awesome. I mean, I would suck at it because I suck at running, but yeah, I think you do really well. But
Yeah,
I love
it's a
the
lot of
double.
things I like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. I think you would excel at the Hyrox. I bet Miles one day will excel at the Hyrox as well. So have you thought? I got to get back to Miles for a second. Have you
yep,
thought about, because I did this with my kid? I'm like, I hope he gets my wife's X, Y, and Z and my this, like to build
100%.
like a perfect athlete. I like is if he gets my wife's engine and her just toughness, and all I want is just get my ability to push things. Everything else
Mm,
can come from her, and we're good to go.
yep. We definitely talked about this, down to like the features,
Yeah.
right? Tips like I want him to have your skin, my hair and eyes, like your length, my power, Tiff's power like output, or like her hand-eye coordination and like rotational strength,
Hmm.
and she's like, and your running ability, uh, and we're like, we're not paying for college,
Yep.
no way. If he gets a fraction of that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and a lot of that would be due to the contributions of my wife's genes to the pool because she was obviously a very high level softball player. So,
Yeah. Her teammates,
um,
by the way, at your wedding were awesome. They were super nice.
oh yeah, they
Uh,
are hilarious.
Yeah, they're good people.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, next thing we want to talk about. Sorry, I got off on a tangent there because I just thought about attributes that would be good for high rocks. Next thing, PFAA, they have released their prospective board of directors. So people that eligible members of the PFAA who have a vote, they were sent a digital uh, like ballot to where they could just vote yes or no on everybody who's thrown his or her hat into the ring. It's not like you can only,
Mm,
yeah, here's 7 candidates, you can only pick 4. There were 6 names on the list, and they just have to vote yes or no as to whether they want them on that list. The names are Christina Lividatakis for Africa and Oceania, Danielle Brandon for North America, Jake Douglas from Oceania, Yella Hosta from Europe, Patrick Vellner from North America, and Victoria Campos from South America. And now that we have, Brent Fikowski, who is the president, I'm guessing, because now he's stepped away from competition to focus on this. I mean, that's a good group. Like, I feel that's a really good group of people.
no doubt. Oh, I mean, as we were chatting before this, you have representation from across the globe.
Mhm.
Um, Athletes at various levels of expertise and experience in terms of times in this sport when they came into the sport. Um, and I think it's reassuring that you have new athletes from all the regions throwing in. You kind of cross-reference it with the other athletes, like obviously Victoria Campos was already a part of the board.
Mhm.
Pat Vellner already a part of the
Yeah.
board, but then you have some other athletes like Jake Douglas jumping in, Christina Lividatakis, like you mentioned, jumping in, that are uh, attempting to, oh, Yellow Hosta too, which is like a newer athlete but
Mhm.
has come in a very big way that really want to help drive change. And I think that's great. I think you have anchors to some of the older ways, but not blind adherence to it. You have athletes that are very future oriented, athletes that are starting to transition on their way out, athletes not necessarily athletes that have been at the games every year, and you have that blend of people that compete at a very high level. And I I'd have to learn a little bit more about the process, in terms of athletes that want, because before they had 9 athletes on the board.
Let's
Um,
do this.
so
Keep going.
their previous board members, Brent Fikowski, who was the president.
Mhm.
You had Annie Thorisdottir, Dinah Swift, Luca, Laverne Engelbrecht, Fiscafi, Victoria Campos, Royce Dunn, and Pat Vellner. They also have their advisory council, which I think has been great, with Max Elhaj from Training Think Tank, Carolyn Lambre, John Singleton, Kotler, and Hicks on the medical side, which is, it's been great too.
There's a lot of
Um,
smart people on there, man. Like people who are really good at what they do.
and really committed, and have really, um, it sounds weird to say, just like they have really intriguing thoughts,
Mhm.
you know. They're unafraid to speak their mind, but they're also very inquisitive and self-reflective in a way that I think brings, interesting ideas to the table. Yeah, I'd have to talk with them with like, like Pat and Brent and some of the members over there. If six athletes is what they're just trying to focus on, like maybe nine was too big,
Mhm.
or if there are some athletes carrying over, because I would like to see, and maybe this is just me creating some arbitrary standard to hold up to. I would like to see a bigger pool of athletes attempting to be board members.
Yeah.
If that
For
makes sense.
No, I agree.
But
And
since this isn't like a you can only vote for three, I think that may be the difference where I'm kind of missing the boat on that. But yeah. So.
yeah, so there's a thing on their Instagram, I have it up now, how their board members are elected, and eligible voting members are identified. Nice little slideshow here. Eligible voting members are invited. Voting members accept invitation in writing. Voting members elect the board of directors, athlete board. An athlete board makes decisions to advance the PFAA's mission and goals. Athlete board selects executive committee to run day-to-day operations. All right. And the executive committee executes and facilitates communication back to voting members. All right. So it's pretty straightforward.
Mhm.
Um, and look, they're it's an interesting time. They're going to certainly have their work cut out for them because, as we talked about, I don't know if it was last show we talked about was the World Fitness Project? Is that what it's called?
Mhm.
Uh, that looks like it's going to be at least kind of. I don't know if it's going to be a competitor to CrossFit, but might offer option for competition. I'll be shocked if the PFAA does not have something in the works.
Mhm.
So there's just a lot going on, and that those six athletes that we named, I haven't I've had interactions, I think, with most of them, more some than others. Danielle Brandon surprised me a little bit that she was on there. She just not that she's not capable of this or anything, but I just didn't see her as that type.
Oh, it's like the
Yeah, like wanting to be. I mean, I
like
think it's
he
great. Don't get me wrong. I love it, but I was just
yeah,
kind of surprised that again. I just didn't think that that would be something that she would want to that she had an interest in. But I'm really glad she does. I think she's a
yeah,
great. Good.
which is great. Yeah, unafraid to tell it like it is,
Mhm.
and it's yeah. I mean, just watching from her as an athlete, I feel like this is kind of a cool growth point of her wanting to like
Yeah.
get like knee deep in some administrative stuff as far as behind the scenes for the sport as well, which is cool.